All right, fourth round here. We saw the power of Dredge last round. I think once is enough. Hopefully we can dodge it the rest of the league here. Go ahead and take the play. And I will keep this hand. This is definitely the definition of Hatebears, right? We have 4 2-mana 2 power creatures and not much else going on. But a turn 2 Thalia can disrupt our opponent decently well, and Voice is good in a decent number of matchups. We have Horizon Canopy, which we can use to draw a card. It would be nice if we had a 3-drop instead of one of these 2s, but I think this is what we signed up for when we played this deck. We just have a bunch of bears, and we hope that that's good enough. Alright, Elves is not a good matchup. It's actually one of the worst matchups. Elves and Boggles are pretty bad. None of these, the text on these cards are relevant. Scavenging Ooze maybe if we can force our opponent to do some trading. Thalia can hold our opponent off of like Collected Company and Cord for a turn. Voice, if we can start to trade in combat, is going to be fine. The problem is here we have no protection against a combo start from our opponent. Like Archdruid into Azuri is not something we can beat. We can beat a swarm of little elves, but we can't beat the combo with an overrun. So we just have to hope that our opponent doesn't have a great draw. And the fact that they played an Essence Warden on turn 1 indicates that they don't have a great draw. Okay, the Heritage Druid definitely makes up for not having a turn 1 mana dork. So now they can kind of go off. The Heritage Druid is going to make our Thalia look pretty bad as well, since they can make a ton of mana. Kind of at our opponent's mercy here. When we sideboard, we get to bring in Explosives, which is really good, and Deck and Stone, which is a pretty decent card here. Also, the one, this is an instance where the one Grafdigger's Cage is much better than like the 3rd Rest in Peace. So that's why I wanted to play one Grafdigger's Cage, because it does have some utility in other matchups. But overall, this matchup is not good. Looks like a Cord, perhaps. Yeah. Cord for 3. Probably just gets Azuri, and then we're dead next turn. Shaman of the Pack. I don't really mind that so much. I mean, yeah, the trigger's annoying, but I feel like we can fight through that a little bit better than just getting overrun. One card left in hand. Come on, opponent. Just one card. It can't be that hard to play. Oh, it's a cord. Well, alright. Maybe it is a little hard to play. That's not good for us. If they only had the one payoff card, the one cord, we probably would have been fine. But 2 is not good for us to see. I thought even like the black-green elves version, any version that I've seen plays at least one Azuri. So I still think that that should have been the target with the first cord. But if they had 2, maybe they just go for a Shaman of the Pack win. I don't know. I think either way is just going to kill us. But Azuri is the card that we really can't beat. From their perspective, if we have Path, maybe the Shaman of the Pack is just better, knowing that they're going to be able to get 2. Excuse me. So can we make any attacks at all now? If we leave 5 blockers back, we can block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creatures. We go to 1. No creatures in the yard for Scavenging Ooze yet. So we can't attack. We can cycle this Horizon Canopy. Alright. They drew a 3rd cord off the top. Yeah, alright. I mean, the fact that they drew 3 cords and we didn't draw any of our Mind Sensors or Lean and Arbiters is a little frustrating. Alright, Cage. Explosives. Deck and Stone. Oh yeah, and the Linvalas are insane here. Basically stops all of our opponent's creatures. From Mana Dorks all the way up to the Overrun creatures, Heritage Druids, etc., etc. I'm not sure about cutting Thalia. They do have, you know, the companies and the cords. Hopefully we're going to be targeting those spells in other ways with the Mind Sensor and the Arbiters. Smiters are, like, good beaters, but they can get chump blocked so easily, which makes it tough. I also don't know that Voice is very good. I think I kind of want to take the Thalias out just because it starts to hurt us a lot more than it hurts our opponent at this point. Oh yeah, actually this is where I like cutting companies, because I brought in how many like non-company hits here. So Thalia can come back in. Smiter can come back in. I might not need to cut all of the companies. That might have been a little rash, but definitely trimming on them makes sense. Well, This hand would be good with Linvala if I could cast Noble Hierarch on turn 1. If I could cast anything on turn 1. I mean, this has all our sideboard cards. Between Cage and Linvala, our opponent is like almost locked out. But we can't cast them, which is an issue. This hand is a lot worse. Like, a lot worse. I actually don't think we can keep it. Turn 2 Voice, turn 3 Smiter. I don't know. I know I want to mulligan aggressively, but I feel bad sending this one back. Just a 2-mana 2/2 and a 3-mana 4/4 is not necessarily going to get us there. The fact that we have one path, I guess, makes it worth keeping. That way we can't, get completely run over by like an Azuri or a Elvis Archdruid. Sure. So I was going to play Smiter here, but Arbiter would help us prevent our opponent from casting Chord. So I think that's actually important. Revealing Shaman of the Pack. Sure. Now, the question is whether we path this here. I don't think so. We're not going to die to the trigger. We're not going to die to a 3/2. We need to save path for our more, for their heavier hitters, which we haven't seen yet. So maybe they're just playing Shaman of the Packs. I really haven't seen the black-green, like dedicated black-green versions of this list. I'm going to wait until we just start attacking with the Smiter. I'm going to leave the Voice of Resurgence back on defense. We are at 14. Our opponent's gaining life with Essence Warden. Dismember. Alright. So now they probably have Chord. Looks like they might just be all in on shamaning people. Again, I really wish I had that Hushwing Griff back in my deck. Just go ahead and save a damage here. Just leaving the 4/4 back so our opponent can't attack. Maybe if I leave voices back, they can't attack either. There's an Archdruid. And an Elite. Okay. So, I guess we're hoping to draw explosives. I'm not sure if we want to put it on 2 or 1. Probably on 2. Then we can kill our voices and get tokens. No, they just have another chord. Jeez, they feel like infinite chords in this match so far. No, I guess we're just dead. This is basically how the games play out anyway. Like, we need them to not have nut hands like they have in these past 2 games. And we need to draw our sideboard cards a little more, which we did not do. We also didn't draw... Well, I guess they had the Dismember for our Arbiter. And we didn't see any other Arbiters or Mind Sensors, which would have shut off these cords in Game 1 and Game 2. But that is the match.